You know that moment when plans get canceled? Instead of disappointment, you feel relief? Not happiness, relief. Your shoulders drop, your mind gets quieter, and suddenly, the night feels like it belongs to you again. If that reaction feels familiar, this video is about you. And just so you know where this perspective is coming from, hi, I'm Jonathan. I'm a certified psychologist. And today we're talking about the psychology behind people who love staying at home. If you're one of them, or if you know someone like this, just stay with me for a bit. By the end of this video, you'll clearly understand what psychology actually says about people like this. People who love staying at home aren't antisocial. They're not lazy. They're not missing out on life. They're responding to something much deeper, and most people don't slow down long enough to understand it. Here's the thing. We live in a world that treats being busy like a personality trait. Going out means you're living. Staying in means you're wasting time if you're not exhausted, overstimulated, or constantly around people. Society assumes something must be wrong, but psychology tells a very different story. Let's talk about energy. Some people get energy from the outside world, noise, conversation, movement, crowds. For them, silence feels empty. Stillness feels uncomfortable. But for others, it's the complete opposite. Every interaction, even a good one, costs energy. Not because they hate people, not because they're awkward, but because their nervous system processes stimulation more deeply. Sounds feel louder, emotions hit harder. Conversations take more mental effort, so when they finally get home, close the door, and sit in quiet, the body exhales. Home isn't isolation, it's recovery. Psychologists describe this with something called optimal arousal. Some brains need more stimulation to feel balanced. Others need less, too much noise, too many plans, too much unpredictability. And the system overloads? So staying home isn't avoidance, it's regulation. And that's just the surface, because for a lot of people, home means something else too, control out there. Everything is unpredictable, loud strangers, forced small talk, last-minute changes, social expectations you never agreed to, but are still judged by. You're expected to perform, to react the right way, to smile at the right moments, to care about things you don't actually care about at home. You control the lighting, the noise, the temperature, the pace of the night. You don't have to explain yourself. You don't have to be on for people with anxiety, high sensitivity, or a history of emotional chaos. That control isn't just comfort. It's safety. And when you've spent years feeling overwhelmed, misunderstood, or overstimulated, safety becomes addictive in the best possible way. Here's something most people miss. People who love staying home aren't doing nothing. They're thinking, they're reflecting, replaying conversations, connecting dots other people miss. Research shows that people who enjoy solitude tend to be more introspective, more creative, and better at deep problem solving. Not because solitude magically makes you smarter, but because silence gives your mind room to wander. That's why ideas don't usually show up in crowded rooms. They show up in the shower, late at night, on the couch, in a quiet kitchen at 2 in the morning. Home is where the mind finally speaks, and yet, this is where society gets uncomfortable. Because solitude looks like loneliness from the outside. People assume they must be sad, they must be depressed, they must be avoiding life, but enjoying solitude isn't the same as being lonely. Loneliness hurts. Solitude heals. One drains you, the other fills you up. The problem is, they look the same to someone who doesn't understand the difference. Now let's talk about the harder part, because it matters. Not everyone stays home for healthy reasons. Some people stay home because the world feels too heavy, because social anxiety turns every interaction into a threat, because past trauma taught them that people mean pain, because depression whispers, "What's the point?" For them, home becomes both a refuge and a cage. Psychology draws a clear line here. Ask yourself this: do you stay home because it brings peace, or because leaving feels impossible? One is self-awareness. The other is fear wrapped in comfort, and the difference isn't where you are, it's how you feel. Peace feels grounding, hiding feels heavy. People who genuinely love staying home don't feel trapped. They feel aligned. They notice small rituals most people rush past. Morning coffee made the same way every day. That one spot on the couch. The quiet moment when the sunlight hits the wall just right. These aren't boring details, they're anchors. When your inner world is rich, you don't need constant stimulation to escape it. That's why some people can sit alone for hours without feeling empty, while others panic the moment the noise stops. And here's the uncomfortable truth. The world rewards visibility, not depth. Being out is praised. Being loud gets noticed. Being constantly available is celebrated. But depth happens in private. Growth happens off camera. Healing happens quietly. Clarity happens when no one's watching. So when someone chooses a night in over a party, they're not rejecting life. They're choosing the version of life that actually works for them. And that makes people uncomfortable because it forces a question most don't want to ask. What if all this running around isn't actually making me happy? So home lovers get labeled as boring, not because they are, but because their stillness exposes other people's restlessness. Psychologists describe this as a low-stimulation preference. These people don't need constant novelty to feel alive. They don't need the world to entertain them. Their inner world already does, and no, that doesn't mean they never enjoy going out. It means they choose it intentionally. Quality over quantity, depth over noise, presence over performance. So if you're someone who cancels plans without guilt, who looks forward to a quiet weekend more than a packed schedule, who rewatches comfort shows instead of chasing new thrills, you're not broken, you're not wasting your life. You're wired differently, and different doesn't mean less. It just means your joy speaks softly. So tell me, do you stay home because it fills you or because leaving drains you? Because understanding that difference changes everything. And if this video put words to something you've always felt, the next one is going to feel uncomfortably accurate. Click it. You might understand yourself a little more than you expected, I hope, somewhere. These words resonated with you and this video helped. If it did, like and subscribe for more content like this. You're watching Unseen Impulse. Thanks for being here.